Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to week 3 in the NFL football season. My name is Wayne Shorter, D-Generation Wayne, host and CEO of the Eliminator Sports Network. Yes, we are here to help you get you through your Eliminator week, 17 weeks of surviving and advancing during this NFL football season. Last week, once again, I fell in the loss column because of Matthew Stafford. He burned me in week 1 and he burned me in week 2. So basically, I'm doing these now for fun to help anybody else who wants to survive in advance to the next week of the NFL football season. Once again, here are the rules of the Eliminator Sports Network. Whatever your pool is, survive in advance, last man standing, suicide pool, one and done. You have to pick one team each and every week for 17 weeks, but you can't use that team again. So I've already used the Colts, and they burned me. And I've used the Lions, and they burned me. So hopefully the one I will pick this week will not burn me. But what else is new? So we have full games on tap. If you already picked the Patriots, it was a smart choice because they curb stomped the Titans. The Texans, 27-0 on Thursday night. But we usually like to pick our games in the Sunday-Monday slate. So here we go. We're going to start off week 3 of the NFL season, starting with the Cardinals being a 4.5-point favorite over the Buffalo Bills. I wouldn't take this game just because the Bills right now are in free fall mode, and this will be the one time that you would take the Cardinals. First of all, some of the rules that I like to use when doing these is I try not to pick the visiting team, and I try to stay away from division games because, as you can see, division games can burn you and they can make you wonder, why did I pick them? So I try to stay away from division games. I know week 17 is all division, so you have no choice. But for the most part, with the exception of 1 week out of the season, I basically stay away from division games, and I stay away from the road team. Now, with that said, Cardinals being the 4.5-point favorite over the Buffalo Bills, this is a game you definitely want to stay away from. One, you don't want to pick Buffalo, but this will probably be the game Buffalo ends up winning. They are in, like the great Chris Berman says, no one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. And they need to circle the wagons this week because, let's put it this way, Rex Ryan's job is on the line. If they lose maybe this week, next week, there will be a coaching change in Buffalo. I'm calling it out right now because your boy ain't never wrong, except an Eliminator. But if the Bills go, to the bye week, and I think their bye week, if I'm not mistaken, is either week 6 or 7, somewhere in that area, there will be a coaching change. So this is a must-win for the Bills. I don't see it this week, but stay away from the Bills as far as your Eliminator goes. Next game on the tap, the Titans, and them. Oh, y'all got me good last week. Y'all got me good. The Titans at home, 1.5-point favorite over the Raiders. And I would definitely just stay away from that game because, let's just be honest, the Titans is just the type of team that you don't expect one. You figure they would try to beat Minnesota without Teddy Bridgewater, and they couldn't do it. Oh, by the way, we go to Detroit, where we figured we may get curb stomped, and you're down 15-3 and you pull out the win. So which Titans team is going to show up this week? The one that played until the fourth quarter against Detroit last week, or the one who didn't play well at all, Minnesota? But hopefully they're at home. Stay away from this game as far as Eliminator pick goes. Just too risky, especially if you want to use them as a one-and-done team. So, in other words, use them once and you're done. You ain't got to worry about it. Just want to steal one. Next game on tap, Redskins, 4.5-point underdogs on the New York Giants, the G-Men. Division game, just let's move on. Now, here's the one everybody is taking except me because the Browns and the Dolphins, and about 90% of everyone is going with this game, which actually is a smart pick, but the Dolphins haven't won a game yet either, and we know about Cleveland. 9.5, nah, that's way too high. This will be the type of game like the ones I always seem to pick. It'll always come down to that last play. You don't want to, there were a couple games last week, people took the Cardinals and they pretty much slept the second half. I like to get a couple of those games every now and then, but normally I never get them. I always get the ones that go like, the Colts and the Lions, or the Lions and the Titans. They come down to the last play, and I'm like, let's get it scored. But I do believe Miami will win. It's the opening of Hard Rock Stadium, the new refurbished stadium of the Miami Dolphins. So 9.5 points, that's a little high. Cleveland ain't that bad. This will be probably one of those games. If you take the Dolphins, you're going to be sweating. But they should win this game. But I'm going to stay away from it. My team, the Ravens, is basically a pick'em game against the Jaguars. I wouldn't take this, even as a Raven fan, I wouldn't even take this. Just because we remember what happened last year when we played Jacksonville. That little 15-yard penalty, I think it was a face mask grab on the last play of the game, and they got an extra play and they kicked the field goal. I still have nightmares over that, and one of my good friends is a Jaguar fan and never let me forget it. But, oh, by the way, I have 2 rings, you have none. So that always settles every argument I have with Jaguar fan. So I'm going to stay away from this game. They're my team. They better win Sunday to go 3-0. And then we get the Redskins the week after next week, my birthday weekend, turning 50. Looking forward to it. The team that burned me last week, the Lions, 7.5 point underdog, Green Bay Packers. Hopefully this is the game Aaron Rodgers gets his act back together to being the bad man that he is. But right now, Aaron Rodgers is kind of a man. Still a great fantasy play, but it's not in click yet. It's not the Packers just aren't in sync yet. They should be all right come week 10, week 11 when they're making that push towards the Super Bowl. But Aaron Rodgers has been like, and losing against Minnesota last week definitely didn't help. So, but as far as a pick goes for Eliminators, division game. And remember, last year, the Lions did go to Lambeau Field and win. So, stay away from this game at all costs. All right, here's a game some who didn't take the Panthers last week, which was a smart play. I would take this game. The Panthers are a 6.5 point favorite over the Vikings. With all the turmoil that's going on in Charlotte, the game's going to be played there. This be the time for the city to come together and root the football team on the victory. Now, the Vikings do not have Adrian Peterson. They do not have Teddy Bridgewater. It is a tempting pick to go with the Panthers, but I'm going to use them later on. I'm trying to find a better matchup. So, if you didn't use the Panthers last week, this would be a good week to use them this week. I'm not going to use them, though. So, next up is Tampa Bay and the Rams. The Tampa Bay is a 4.5 point favorite. It's Tampa's home opener. They're playing the Rams. Rams basically have no offense. This is a good game as an eliminator pick as well because you figure your quarterback matchup is Case Keenum against Jameis Winston. Well, advantage Buccaneers. But the defense of the Rams have been playing lights out. Now, take out the first game pretty much where they laid an egg. They did hold Russell Wilson in their return back to LA on last Sunday. They won like 9-3. Basically was a offense optional game. As far as eliminator pick, this would be like my number 2 pick as far as eliminator. I'm not going to use it, but it's a good pick to use. I have the Panthers. If you basically would be my number 3 pick if I had to go in order. Buccaneers would be my number 2 pick, and you'll be shocked at who my number 1 pick is. I just have a good feeling about this game. I better get a win, or I will not do another video. Well, that's allowed me to do 17 of these, win or lose. Okay, next up is 49ers and the Seahawks. Seahawks 9.5 point favorite. You know the rules. Division games, things go crazy. Even though the Niners aren't that good, they can rise up to the occasion. And yes, they got curb stomped in Carolina last week, but it's a division game, and usually division just brings out the best in both teams. I stay away from it because Russell Wilson right now isn't looking that too good with that hobbled ankle. And the 49ers will probably just show up and might upset them. So it's a division game. Just stay away from it. Coming up is the Jets, the Jets, with that big win on the first Thursday night game of the year, having 10 days off, playing against the Chiefs at Arrowhead. 2.5-point favorite, Kansas City Chiefs. Too close a game to use as a pick. Plus, Kansas City is a good team. You want to use them later on in the season, so we'll pass on that game. The team that burned me last week, week 1, Indianapolis Colts, home 2.5-point favorite against the San Diego Superchargers. We hope we'll not be going to LA after this season, but hey, for all y'all in San Diego, please vote for that initiative. Please vote for that. Please get the 2/3 vote. That team deserves to stay. Plus, y'all bringing back them smoking dark blue uniforms. Yeah, nice. Best uniforms in football. That was the Dan Fouts, Charlie Jordan, John Jefferson era with the gold pants. Those uniforms are the bomb. Love them. So, as far as your eliminator pick goes, Chargers, Colts, pass. Not worth it. Now, here's one a lot of people taking the Steelers on, and they're the road team. They're a 3.5-point favorite at Philly. So, one, it's at Philly, so you will expect a lot of fights up in there. And, man, I wish I was there to see just the love between the in-state rivals because it will be some throwing down up in that joint, up at Lincoln Financial Field. Yeah, bam, bam. Oh, a whole lot of fighting getting ready going on up in there. So, as far as eliminator pick goes, use at your own risk if you're going to use a Pittsburgh, but I wouldn't do it. It's just no way. It's just wouldn't do it. Not worth your time. Stay away from them. The Eagles, Carson Wentz. This will be his first test. Now, Cleveland did very well. Chicago did okay. Now you're coming up against this is your first Carson Wentz first big test. He's going to get his numbers. I think Carson Wentz will be fine. I just don't think it'll be enough to win. I think Steelers take the game. I hate for me, and it pains me as a Ravens fan to say that. I'm rooting for the Eagles 100% on Sunday. I'm rooting for EDP's team because I need them to knock out Pittsburgh so we can go in first place. So this is strictly business. So fly, Eagles fly on the road to victory. EAGLES Eagles. Win on Sunday. Make Raven Nation proud. Make Raven Nation happy. Thank you very much. Next game. This is my eliminator pick. And I don't like the Cowboys. I really don't. But they're playing the Chicago Bears and no Jay Cutler. I'm shocked a lot of people is not jumping on this one with with both feet in. I'm jumping on this pick with both feet in. The Cowboys are a 5.5-point favorite. I think they'll win by more than 5.5. I think they'll win going away. The Bears are in free fall. They're not good. So this one, and I don't like the Cowboys. I got a good friends about all Cowboy fans, but this is strictly business. 1 week, I root for y'all. Give me my win so I can get off of this schneid on these picks and not make me look as bad. But with my luck, the way things go, the Bears will probably curb stomp the Cowboys, will make me look even worse. But right now, the Bears are in turmoil. I don't think John Fox is going to last through the season. He's another one on the hot seat. He'll probably get fired at the end of this season, especially if things keep going the way they're going. And Jay Cutler, let's be honest, Cutler's not even an NFL quarterback right now. But here's the sad thing about it, and I put this on one of the posts on Stephen A. Smith. There are 4 teams right now that would take Cutler off the Bears' hands. And I'll tell you the 4 right now. Cleveland, San Francisco, LA, and maybe Washington with you like that Kirk Cousins not doing as well as he did last year. Now, as far as the eliminator pick, that's my pick. I'm going to stick with it. I'm rooting for the Star. They better win Sunday night so I can at least get off the snot and at least get my first correct pick of the year. And the Monday night game, of course, is a division game between the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints. 3.5-point favorite. Stay away, division. And it brings back memories of the first game back in the Dome after Katrina. And usually, if I said it then, usually I would not have picked that game. But there was no way they were losing that game and that first game back after Katrina. No. They could have played the 85 Bears, and The Saints were not going to lose that game. So, division rival, Drew Brees should torch up Matt Ryan's and the Atlanta defense, and the Saints should get their first win. But as far as eliminator pick, I definitely stay away from him. So here are my 3 choices for the week. I'm going with the Bears and the Cowboys. The Cowboys being my pick. Number 2 will be the Panthers, if you didn't use them last week, up against the Vikings. And my number 3 pick is Tampa Bay taking on the Rams. Till next week, for week 4 of the NFL season, I'm Wayne Shorter. Keep God first. Love you. Peace.